Hello, and welcome back. So the next topic that we're going to talk about related to skin disorders are going to be different types of infections associated with the skin. And our infections associated with the skin can either be viral or they can be bacterial in nature. All right? I don't have a huge laundry list of all the viruses, all the bacteria that can cause skin lesions. The textbook goes into a good bit more detail than I do. There are a couple that I just want to highlight because these are ones that you may encounter. They tend to be more frequent. So I'm going to hit two main viruses for viral infections associated with skin lesions. Okay, so with viral infections, one of the prominent viruses associated with skin infections is the herpes simplex virus, or HSV. Herpes simplex virus, there are actually a number of different subtypes of the virus. I'm going to focus on just two. I'm going to focus on HSV1 and HSV2. So that's herpes simplex virus, all right? HSV1 typically are going to be viral infections that happen above the waist. So individuals who have cold sores around the mouth and lip regions, that's primarily caused by herpes simplex virus 1, okay? It's sometimes also referred to as oral. But it doesn't necessarily just have to be lesions around the mouth. There can be lesions in other areas. Typically, they're painful, they break open, but they tend to be self-limiting. The virus goes and it starts making viral particles, breaks open those skin cells, and then eventually the body will rid or reduce the viral load. The skin will heal. There can be topical medications that are given to help relieve the pain, the discomfort associated with it, and also to speed the healing, all right? So these typically are above the waist. HSV2, herpes simplex virus 2, these are the ones that are associated with the genitals, all right? So typically this one is the one we think about being sexually transmitted. But fun fact here, you can actually have either one of these in either location. So you can have HSV2 infections around the oral cavity, around the mouth, and you can have HSV1 in the genital regions. So typically they do stick to either above the waist or genitals, but you can have either viral infection in either location, all right? So this is what's associated with the sexually transmitted disease herpes. Again, with either one of these viruses, both tend to be triggered by stress, all right? So when you have a particularly stressful time like finals, that can be where you start to notice you get cold sores popping up, all right? It's not only stress that can cause these. You can also have injury. With women, the menstrual cycle, the changes in hormones can trigger an inflammation or uprising of the virus to result in the infection. But typically, stress is the main cause, all right? Treatment, again, it's self-limiting. There are some things to relieve pain. There are some medications like acyclovir that will help limit outbreaks, but typically it just it runs its course, okay? So HSV1, HSV2 are going to be two of the viruses I want you to know. And I do want you to know which one is above the waist, which one is genitals. So when I ask you on a test which one is above the waist, I'm looking for HSV1, okay? Even though I told you they can be in either place, I want you to get that classification, all right? Our other type of viral infection that we'll cover is known as chickenpox. All right, and I had chickenpox when I think I was 12 or 13 when I ended up with chickenpox, so I was a little bit older. But chickenpox, again, this is a viral infection. All right, now there's a vaccine for chickenpox. All right, and it's recommended that you have your kids get the chickenpox vaccine because with chickenpox, the virus that's associated with chickenpox is also the virus that results in shingles later in life. Okay, so the varicella zoster, Z-O-S-T-E-R virus, is the infectious agent that causes both chickenpox and shingles. So essentially what happens is the virus, if you are infected initially as a child, lays dormant for decades, typically. So, and where it resides is going to be nervous tissue. So if that virus becomes reactivated later in life, okay, so essentially what you've got the same virus that causes chickenpox. It goes latent in the body, meaning it's hidden, it's not expressed, it's not doing anything. But where it stays latent or dormant or hidden is in the nervous system. So when it reactivates because of stress or because of other environmental influences, it becomes really, really painful, okay? Chickenpox, as far as an infection, it does cause skin lesions. I've got a couple scars from where I have scratched and removed the pustule associated with chickenpox. It's one of those things when you were a kid, it was really, really hard not to scratch them. And your parents told you you're going to be scarred if you scratch them. All right, I didn't listen so well. I only have a couple though. But chickenpox, the symptoms associated with that tend to be itchiness. So the impetus there is you want to scratch at it. All right, but if you remove that pustule, it can create a scar. All right. Once the individual recovers from chickenpox, again, typically as far as infectious viruses, this one was one that was considered self-limiting initially because you had it as a kid. It's typically not fatal, okay? But what happens is later in life, if you've had chickenpox and it becomes reactivated, that results in shingles. And shingles is a lot more painful, all right? So that's why if you haven't been exposed to chickenpox, the vaccine is a great idea because it'll not only help protect you from chickenpox, but it'll also help protect you from shingles down the road, okay? So those are going to be the two viruses, well, I guess I've got 3 on here, but the 2 classifications of viral infections I want you to know for now. The next video, we're going to go over the bacterial infections. If you have any questions, please let me know.